Thanks very much, JC, for the introduction. I've been with DFS for 4 years. Loved every minute of it, and for the last 2 years I've been assistant coach of the Victorian under-15 schoolboys. I'll go through later how the system works and how boys 14 to 15 can apply and get a chance to represent the Vic V, which these two lucky boys got to do. Last year we had Jakey Toa from Nidri, who did the DFS program at Nidri. He was lucky enough to represent Vic Metro. That's what it was last year. It was Vic Metro and Vic Country, and he went to Darwin, but unfortunately we probably enjoyed the social life too much and finished in 5th position. This year we merged into one team because Tasmania entered it. The way it works is the boys nominate online. They go through a series of sessions with the country. This year we went to the V-Line Championships, which was held in term 1 of the holidays. We went and watched about 30 games of footy. We picked a squad of 30 for the country, 30 for the Metro. They all got together on one day, and then we were able to pick a team of 25. And these two boys who are part of the DFS, a fantastic job to make it, considering all the boys who play under 15 or under 14 football in Victoria. It's a testament to not only the DFS program, to these boys and their character on making the final side. I'll ask them questions shortly about the process and what they thought of it. We're very lucky enough to play in Western Sydney. We got to play at the Giant Stadium twice. We got to play at Blacktown, and we got to play at another ground that was next to the airport, and you had about 1,000 planes flying overhead, but it was still a beautiful surface. And in the final, we beat Queensland for national champions. Ollie, I'll run. Poor old Ollie. Come over here, mate. I'll do Ollie first. First of all, Ollie, how did you get involved in the program to be involved with the big side?
24 hours before the first big trial game was a DFS match against Western Warriors, which Simon invited me to play against. Witch was the coach, and from there, I think as soon as I got home, he called my dad and he asked him if I wanted to be a part of this big squad. We signed up, and then the next day we went to Waverley and I played first practice match.
Yeah. And how did you find the standard, having obviously been a great player, Ollie's from Research Footy Club, having been a great player obviously in your team and representing Northern Footy League at 15s, did you find much difference in the standard of the footy?
The footy, there was a huge jump from club footy or interleague footy up to the boys who were actually trialling for the big state. It was good to play against people who wanted to be the best.
Alright, what happened was he went through a few trials, he went to Waverley a couple of times, and then he probably didn't play his greatest game out at Moorabbin when there was 60, but he'd done enough in the process, so he didn't really base it on one game. I gave him the phone call. What was your reaction when you found out you were in the big side?
I was wrapped. I didn't expect it because of how I played in my last game, but I was so happy that I made it.
And then he went and played in the NFL rep game against Yarra on a miserable old day at Bull Lane Park. And can you tell us what happened there, Ollie?
I broke my collarbone in the third quarter against the smallest player.
And what did that result in, Ollie?
6 weeks off footy, which in borderline playing is in the Vic squad. I didn't play.
We had to make a decision. He was given 6 weeks. And then in the end we had to make a decision because we thought it wasn't fair to the emergencies, it wasn't fair to Ollie and his family. Since he's come back, he's been in hospital, he's had glandular fever, so he hasn't had the best of luck. But testament to Ollie and to his family, he came along, did the whole program, went to every game, was water boy, got involved in the celebrations, and last week went to the presentation. He got in the team photo with the Vic jumper, and I was really proud that Ollie had suffered the disappointment of missing out, but in the end was a part of the team just as much as anyone. I'd like to put your hands together for Ollie Wilson, please. Alright, here's our rover. Joel is from South Marine Footy Club. Joel, tell us about how you got, how you found out about this whole process.
Yeah, well, first I got a call from Simon, just letting me know that they needed someone big and tall to trial out. And yeah, I was the person for the job. And of course, when I got there to trials, I stood out. Yeah, it's really, like the standard really rose from club footy, and as Ollie said, interleague footy just really stepped up.
And obviously you got to play in the whole carnival. How'd you find it playing against opposition teams of the same ability or same ilk as yourself?
Yeah, it was really, really tough. Just to come up against people with the same skill as you, the same ability and size. It was just unbelievable.
So this is obviously with Stretch played as our ruckman. He went forward a couple of times, tried to snag a couple of goals. He was a key player, averaging over 20 hit-outs a game, obviously. When it came to the final, we came up against Queensland, who for the first time I think made a state final in Division 1. Can you tell the audience just a little bit about Queensland?
Queensland, obviously you didn't expect them to be as good as getting to the grand final because of their rugby background, but it was a really big surprise. They had a few really good players, a lot of height, and a lot of big bodies.
Yeah, Queensland had 6 players over 6'5", and you've got to think these boys are 14 and 15 years old. The final was played at Giant Stadium in front of probably 2,500–3,000 people, and we ended up winning by 11 points. Joel had a fantastic carnival. I think he played every game. He was a key contributor, and obviously being involved with DFS had a fantastic grounding for him. And we congratulate Joel Grace and Ollie Wilson on their fantastic Just briefly, this is for the 14s and 15s. A lot of the 16s and 18s is really well known, the TAC program. The 12s is really well known through the primary system, where you get nominated by your schools and you go to district level, division. There's probably a few boys who've made it a fair way and they're under 12s this year. 15s works a little bit differently. You have to nominate. You have to nominate on lines if you think you're good enough. What happens, and we tend to find with the 15s, is that there's a few TAC clubs who aren't overly interested in promoting the 15 schoolboys, and that's why it enabled me to contact Joel and Ollie once I saw their ability. So if you are interested, and this year we did have one bottom age, under 14 boy, and last year we had 3 under 14 boys who played. Of those 3 last year, 1 was the captain and 1 made All-Australian this year. So it's a really amazing program. We've been very lucky to be in Darwin and Western Sydney, which has been fantastic. Next year's in Geelong. So it'll be close for your family and friends, which is great. But just to give you an example, and I looked up tonight, I've actually done notes for the first time. In 2010, the Vic Metro back then, so the Vic Metro played against Perth and came second. It just shows you how strong this competition is. From that team, we had Luke McDonald, who was drafted this year. We had Ben Lennon, we had Christopher Salem, we had Jack Billings, we had Billy Hartong, we had Josh Kelly. Also as bottom ages, we had Darcy Moore, who's been picked up as number 8. Christian Petrarca, who looks as though he's going to go number 1, and Reece McKenzie, who looks as though he's going to go top 20. So from that team alone, 9 players just from Vic Metro are playing AFL, and the player who got player of the tournament that year was a young guy from Western Australia called Jack Martin. So it is an amazing effort to make it that far, and I wish all of the 14s and 15s who think they're good enough, by all means put your hand up, and for those who are doing DFS, you're only going to get better and prepare you for what lies ahead, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.